Hello everyone, welcome to the Reading Rush reading vlog. It is day one of the Reading Rush. It's about 3:15 in the afternoon and I'm doing okay with my reading. Started my reading with The Deep by River Sullivan, and I ended up actually starting my reading an hour before it started in my time zone because I've had a lot of issues with my muscles around my eyes. Like a couple of days ago, they were cramping really bad, and now it's gone down to like a light twitch in just one eye, which I actually appreciate. It's not great, but I appreciate that it's not as bad as like a full-on eye muscle cramp. But the thing is that it might affect my reading for the rest of the week. And also I was really bored last night because I'm trying to stay off my phone and off my computer or anything to just rest my eyes, and I was so bored and I thought it's almost time in my time zone, so I'm just gonna start my book. And it was actually really helping with the eye issue, which is nice to know. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about women that were pregnant, that were slaves on slave ships, were thrown overboard into the ocean, and they would birth these mer people, like these mermen. So I'm finding it quite interesting. It's not very dialogue heavy, but it is very sensory, which I really enjoy. I want to say that it's cerebral, but I don't know if that's the right word for what I'm saying. I'm going to look up the word cerebral and see if that's the right word for this book. But I'm really enjoying it so far, and it's the kind of read that's very relaxing. So I'm enjoying it for that reason as well. I also, before I went to sleep, listened to like 7 minutes of the audiobook of Big Fish by Daniel Wallace. And I enjoyed the 7 minutes of that I listened to. So the general plan for reading today is to kind of pick this up when I can, and then tonight I'm going to try to get a huge chunk of the audiobook of Big Fish read or listened to, because I am going to try to dye my hair right here, or the light part of my hair, like a highlighter colored yellow, because I've always wanted to do like a fashion color in my hair, and because my hair is already kind of yellowy when it's lightened anyway, I think that it will look cool. So I'm basically going to hopefully not destroy my hair while listening to Big Fish, and wish me luck with all of the things. I am off to do the Instagram challenge, and I will see you later. It's day 2 of the readathon. I really like how my yellow hair turned out, although this indoor lighting does not do it justice. I feel like I've been running around my house like a crazy person, mostly because I was trying to figure out what to do for the Instagram challenge today. It was to cosplay a book character, and I didn't want to do something that required like a heck of a ton of makeup or like a lot of outfit situation. And I realized that from years of being like a dance teacher and a dancer, I have like a ton of top hats, and so I thought, oh, I could be Rose the Hat from Dr. Sleep, because I don't know, I thought it'd be fun to cosplay a villain. And then I also thought it would be cool because I'm obsessed with that book right now because I recently read it and just was like, I'm in love, I'm obsessed with it, it's the book of the year. Haven't watched the movie yet. I'm probably gonna watch it this weekend. It took me a really long time to find my top hats. I had to go through all my different costume sections, but I did finally find it. The good thing though was that I could listen to my audiobook while doing all the various different photos and things that I was doing, and I ended up completing Big Fish. I ended up really enjoying Big Fish. It was a endearingly odd book. It's very allegorical. It's about this man whose father is dying, but his father has always been sort of a jokester and a storyteller, and his father is kind of unable to be serious about the situation of his death, which is low-key frustrating to his son. So part of the story is the son sharing his father's kind of wackadoodle stories, and then another big part of it is him just in general having a different take on his father's dying moments. And it sounds like it's sad, but it's actually sort of humorous. It also has a really cool study on not only the relationship between fathers and sons, but also just a general child to parent relationship, how you can kind of both hero worship a parent and also recognize that they have a great deal of flaws sometimes. I really do love magical realism, but I don't tend to read it that often, so I think it definitely fit the bill for what I wanted with it. If you like weird allegorical tales, I would definitely recommend Big Fish. I'm pretty sure it's pretty different from the movie, or I don't remember the movie very well, but it feels like very different from the film from what I remember. So if you want a different bit of experience with Big Fish, it's definitely worth giving a go. I gave it 5 stars. In other terms of reading, I am 2 chapters away from finishing The Deep. The only thing about it that I've realized as the story has gone on is that it is getting a wee bit repetitive, which I'm not really a big fan of, but I still enjoy the concept of it so far, so we'll see what it's like when I finish it. Plan for reading is to finish The Deep tonight, and then I don't know if I'm going to do another audiobook or if I'm going to pick one of my physical books to read after that. We shall see. 3:25 on day 3 of the reading rush. So last night I completed The Deep, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't love this, but it's okay. It's fine. It's just one of those books where the concept was good, but the execution fell a little short for me. I definitely think some of the repetitive stuff you could have taken out and delved more into the issues that the book was trying to, I think, address instead of those elements. And then also in the last couple of chapters, there's like 2 chapters in this book that are sort of flashback moments, or kind of moments where you get to see the different memories of these characters. And there was one that was just not particularly well placed, so then they were somewhat confusing. If this makes any sense, it probably makes sense to people that have read the book. So I really didn't enjoy that, and this book almost got a 3.5 stars, but I decided to give it 3 stars only because by the end of it I was wanting to scan the last 2 chapters. I just felt like it kind of lost my investment near the end of the book. So I still think that it has some good qualities, like I said, about the writing and all those things, and I do like how well thought out the mythology of the mermaid characters are, but yeah, it's like not the greatest that it could have been, in my opinion. So after I completed that, I decided to start a couple of books. I read a tiny bit of the book Making Bombs for Hitler, and this is really intriguing me. Actually made me go online and kind of look up some backstory on the book as well as the history, because it is a historical fiction. I didn't really know anything about this part of World War II history, which is why I went and looked up something. What happened was around 1943, when this is set, the Nazis would basically go in and take all these different Ukrainian people. They weren't Jewish, they were just Ukrainian people, and use them as people to work in the work camps and just basically work them to death. But what I found out through my research that's really super sad is that a lot of those Ukrainian people after the war was over, got taken in by the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union apparently either killed them or they also used them in like work camp situations because they then considered them Nazis, even though they were kidnapped by the Nazis. So yeah, this book's gonna be an interesting experience, but I think because it's from a young person's point of view, it will make it not kill me inside. This book is following this girl, Lita, who's a Ukrainian that's in a situation where she's gonna go into a work camp, and she's basically, I think, according to the summary, going to work making bombs for the Nazis. But I think she is going to try to figure out how to sabotage the bombs. The point of the story that I am, though, she's just kind of on the trains getting taken to Germany. I did find out, though, as I started this book, that it's a companion novel to, I think, a book called Stolen Child or something like that. And I think there's another book in this. I think, though, that it's a companion novel. It's not a sequel. So I don't think I necessarily have to read Stolen Child to read this one. At least I hope not, because I've gotten just a little bit in and I really like the character that I'm following, and I don't want to like change my to be read, and I also just want to read this because I'm into the character. So I will let you know if it gets weird or like confusing or something, because it is a companion novel, but I'm pretty sure each book in that series, I think it's called the WW2 series, I'm pretty sure each one of them follows a different character. Then I also thought I needed to have still another audiobook in the rotation, and even though I do have the physical copy of Black Beauty, I thought last night when it got around the time when I needed to start being aware of resting my eyes, that I would listen to this in an audiobook. I decided to use a LibriVox audiobook for this one because those are free. If you don't know what LibriVox is, it's basically a app that you can get, or a thing that you can sometimes find on YouTube or online, where volunteers read books in the public domain like this one, and they're free because they are like that. Although on the app, I believe you can buy some audiobooks off of there, but they definitely have the public domain ones for free. I'm listening to the version 2 of Black Beauty because that's read by one reader. Not that the one that was read by multiple readers was bad. It's just, it's nice kind of not to have, you know, when there's multiple readers, they have like different recordings of their sound, and it kind of like the volume shifts a little tiny bit. And when you have one reader, it's obviously recorded by one person. So it's a little easier to not have to adjust things. Sometimes I do read along with the audio book experience, and I have to say that I am quite enjoying it. It's very pleasant, if you will. Like, I don't know that I feel the normal sort of love that I feel with a book when I love it, but I will say that I do feel like it's pleasantly relaxing. It's just a bit weird reading the autobiography of a horse and getting into the horse's point of view, but also at the same time it's kind of cool because I feel like the author really thought about what it's like to be a horse and the different things that humans do to horses, either through the cruelty that sometimes happens, which makes my heart sad. Not just that, also like just being trained to be a horse, that it's meant to carry buggies and ride, and what that would be like. I think it will be a nice balance between these two, because obviously this one's gonna be super, super sad. And while Black Beauty, I knew from watching the film years and years ago, does have some sad moments in it, I do feel like because of the structure of it, it won't be like deeply sad. So I think it will kind of balance out this. And then also I should be able to at least finish this one, maybe not tonight, but by tomorrow. I do have work tonight, and that means I'll probably be audiobooking when I get home from work. It's only for a couple hours, but I also have to stop by Target to get some stuff, and I just know that I'm going to be somewhat tired. So yeah, probably more likely that I'm going to get more of this done than the other book, but they're both great so far. yesterday, which was day 4 of the readathon. So it's now day 5, Friday. Yeah, it was just like too harried for me yesterday. First of all, I have been having a lot of body troubles this week. Like my body's just falling apart. I have something wrong with my ankle. I had something wrong with my arm going on for a second there in the week. And last night after work, I was just super sore. So I was going to update after work, and that just didn't happen. And also before work, I was just running around harried trying to get prepped for work. So I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to do the Instagram challenge, and I'm just going to chill on the update for this day, and then I'll be back ready to go for the last 3 days of the readathon. I also didn't read that much yesterday. I read a lot the night before, and I finished Black Beauty, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I didn't read a lot of my Making Bombs for Hitler book because I did have an hour break at work, but I don't focus very well when I'm at work and trying to read. So what I did basically was I did read a tiny bit in the kind of morning of Making Bombs for Hitler, and then I did read, or I started about a boy when I got home from work, because it's just easier when I get home from work to listen to audiobooks, because it's a nice way for my brain to sort of wind down, but I can't usually settle down to focus on reading with my eyes. So it worked out quite well. And About a Boy is really super amusing. It's just as amusing to me as the film adaptation of it is, because I love the film adaptation, and so I wanted to see what the book was like. And as for Black Beauty, I gave this one 4 stars. It made me think a lot, which I really appreciated. It made me think about the treatment of animals and how animals really do depend on us humans to treat them well, because there are a lot of people that treat animals badly and just don't think about it. And then also, it surprisingly made me think a lot about how people treat other people and how we should treat each other with respect and things like that. And I think that is a really nice lesson as well. So, like I said, 4-star book. Right now, I need to hurry because I'm about to host a read-in with some book friends. I'm just going to join in with them and possibly listen to my audiobook, maybe color in a coloring book. I find that I do better listening to audiobooks during read-ins because it's just easier for me to focus. And that is it. I will see you all soon. Hello, welcome to day 6, and it's 9:30 in the morning. I am super tired because my dog woke me up at 6 a.m. He is unsettled today, so okay. And I'm not a morning person, so this is going to be an interesting moment, but I had to get up early anyway because I'm hosting a read-in on Zoom again today, and I'm really excited to read with some other reader peeps. Again, it was really fun reading with everybody yesterday, and I got a lot done, which helped me complete the book that I completed last night, which was About a Boy. I can't remember if I summarized About a Boy. It's basically 2 perspectives. It's about a man named Will who is really shallow, and he doesn't have a job because he doesn't need to have a job because he had a father who wrote this really famous Christmas song, and it's on every album, and so he's been living off the royalties of that for pretty much all of his life. So he kind of behaves like a child. And then the other point of view is this boy that's 12 named Marcus, and Marcus kind of feels like he is older than his age, and he doesn't really know how to be a kid, and he doesn't really fit in with the kids at his new school, and he has a lot of issues with just also his mom having a lot of depression issues. And so what basically happens throughout the story is that these two characters develop this really like funny, unlikely friendship that is so amusing. And so I really loved reading about a boy because I like unlikely friendships. Like, that is one of my favorite things in stories. Then also, I really loved that it was able to talk about serious topics like depression without becoming really depressing its own self. I think that this author is also really good at that. He's good at having the nice balance of like, we're still discussing this serious topic, but we have like enough comedic moments and enough situational comedy to sort of bring some levity to that conversation, and I really appreciated that element of the story. So I gave that book 5 stars. It was bomb. Highly recommend. If you just want some quirky reading experience moment, that is one of the books I would say to check out. As for other reading that I did yesterday, I did read a tiny bit more of Making Bombs for Hitler. And then I started Listen to the Worm by Rod McEwen. This is a poetry collection, and this is the book that I'm supposed to read entirely outside. However, it is so ridiculously like hot outside. Like, people recommend that you not stay outside for very long. That's how hot it can get in the daytime, and it really doesn't cool off until it's like totally dark at night. And also yesterday I just really needed to just lay down, so I read it in my sunroom. The sunroom was not part of the house when I moved into the house. It was built on so technically it's outside because it's all windows because it's a sunroom, and it also is technically outside of the house. And if I can go outside, like if it cools off today, I'm going to try to read some more of this outside. But anyway, I am enjoying what I've read so far of Listen to the Worm. I got about 42 pages into it, hoping that I end up liking this. I think the good thing about this one is that usually with poetry collections, there's like one poem that I really don't like somewhere in there, or like a few in there. And this one, I like the majority of them. I'm hoping to at least finish this one today, and then finish Making Bombs for Hitler tomorrow, and then that will at least cover all the challenges. I'm not sure if I want to try for 7 books. I'd probably have to change my to be read and not read The Good Earth. I'd have to read like maybe a graphic novel or something, but I'm going to decide that tomorrow. I'm going to see how it goes with the 2 reads that I have, and then we will address that. And now I guess I will read for a little bit before the actual read-in starts, and then I'm hoping to read a little after because I need to get way past where I am in this book if I want to finish it by tomorrow. But I did get to page 54. So I'm thinking, because this is a 230 page book or something like that, I'm thinking that it's possible. And I did find the audiobook of it if I do get a little short on time tomorrow. So wish me luck. All vlogging. It's day 7. I had a really fun time yesterday reading with everyone. If you joined the read along with me yesterday, thanks for joining, because it did really help me get through some pages of the book, and it was awesome. I completed 2 books last night. I completed Listen to the warm, and I ended up really enjoying this. I can honestly say that I liked every single poem. Of course, I had ones that I loved more than others, but I genuinely can say that there's no poems that I thought were like bad or that I didn't want to investigate more or think more about or find something that I liked about. So I gave this one 4.5 stars. I think this came out in the mid to late 1960s, maybe early 70s, and a lot of these poems are very current to our times. Like, they still fit with like what's going on in our lives now. So I thought that was kind of an interesting element of this as well. I also completed Making Bombs for Hitler. I also really loved this. I really loved, like I said, that it's about something that I didn't know that much about previously. It was interesting learning about that and learning something new about history. And I really loved mostly that the main character, Lita, even though she's really young, she was able to still find hope and strength and friendship and beauty, what little there was within her really horrible situation. Treatment of these people and of even the children was unimaginably horrible. I think it's really positive that the main character didn't let that take her down, and she really found the strength to continue on through the relationships that she built and all those things. So that was a really wonderful part of this book. I will say though that I was surprised that the actual making of bombs was not that prevalent in this book, honestly, considering the title. But I think this book is titled Making Bombs for Hitler because it really wants to get across the point of how truly cruel it is to force people to make bombs or make weaponry that is going to be used against their own country and their own people. And I think that's why this book is titled what it is, even though the actual making bombs section isn't that big of a part of the story. It doesn't really happen to the middle of the book, and then it's not for very many chapters. So I think that it's to make the point of how truly cruel it is. It's already a situation where they're getting horrible treatment, where they're slaves, or they've been kidnapped, where their parents have been murdered, all sorts of situations. And then that's just like a really horrible thing on top of it. So I did find this really, really interesting, really enjoyed this, and I think it's a really important book, and I gave this book 5 stars. Do you think that I'm going to read the other books that are companion novels to this book? I will say you do not have to read the book that was written previous to this one to read this one. It's totally understandable. I know that I was earlier concerned about that, and I told you I would let you know. And you can just read this book on its own, and I'm assuming you can do that with The Stolen Child, and I forgot what the third one is named, but it's about another character that's featured in this book named Luca. So I do want to read those other books because I do really enjoy the writer, and I do really enjoy learning about this part of history. So I'm gonna maybe continue on with the series at some point. I have officially completed all the main challenges for the readathon, and I do want to shoot for the 7 books. However, I knew that I was just not gonna get through The Good Earth. It's like an over 300-page book. I'm a slow reader. I could listen to the audiobook, but it's a literary fiction and I don't want to rush through it. So I decided to change up my to be read. I went looking last night for some sort of graphic novel or something, and I have the subscription to the Unlimited for Comixology, and I found a really cute graphic novel that is based around the movie Labyrinth. I guess they, on an anniversary, made a bunch of like little short story graphic novel things, and so I found a little collection of those that I think will be really cute to read, and it's only, I think, 43 pages long or something like that. So I'm going to just have a chill day, read that little Labyrinth graphic novel so that I can get the badge for completing 7 books, because I want to get as many badges as I can, and also so that I can still be reading for a little bit during this day. So I'm gonna read that, hopefully, and then pop back in later and tell you what I thought of it. These are my reading stats for the week, and that's the number of pages and all the books that I completed. Let's look. I got several badges, 13 badges. So that is super cool. Hello again. It's still the same day, but later. So anyway, I finished the Labyrinth graphic novel, and it was super, super cute. If you like the movie Labyrinth, I think that you will at least get like a little kick out of it. Like, the stories don't add anything new to the original story, but it's a nice touch of nostalgia, and it was giving me such a giggle reading things about the side characters and the little goblins and things like that. And so it definitely was a little humorous, cute read, and the art in it is quite nice and fun, and there's a couple of different styles of art in it because there are a couple of different artists involved in it. So if Labyrinth is your jam and you enjoy it, I think you'll get at least a kick out of it. I gave it 4 stars. So I guess that's it for the reading rush. I read 7 books, and only 1 book was under a 4-star rating, so I think that is a really good win for a readathon in general. And also the fact that I could even complete 7 books, even if they were shorter ones, is an amazement, considering that I was like quite wackadoodle, like busy, or like not feeling so great for some of this readathon. So I think I'm definitely a winner for this. Thanks to all the people that helped inspire me to read on all those, you know, read along days, because that really did help me out. Thank you to all of you for watching this vlog and dealing with all of my crazy stuff that I am. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I will see you all soon with another video. Bye!